administered here at Jim Patterson Stadium. And away we go. Lohman faces Griff O'Farrell, the really reliable freshman this season for Brian O'Connor. Richmond native takes that one away. We're underway at 4:03 today. Now O'Farrell out ahead in the count. Counts 2-0.
You can see Fitz, 2 big misses for Lohman to start. I'm not going to overreact. First inning, most pitchers are very anxious, but Lohman's got to get ahead in the count today.
Now, walks have plagued him at times 20 in those 21 1/3 innings. And he's got to find the zone here against O'Farrell. It's a 4-pitch walk, and Virginia has the leadoff man on. So O'Farrell has reached base for a 16th straight game, doing what a leadoff hitter is supposed to do. Justin Rubens at second base today. Max Codier has started there for much of the last week or two, but it's the right-hander against the lefty Lohman, and that time he gets the strike.
Yeah, and I like that. Take a strike with a bunt. And I also like what Roger Williams, the pitching coach for Louisville, did there. The fastball's all over the joint. Try the breaking ball, and Lohman lands it.
13th appearance of the year for Lohman. Started primarily coming out of the bullpen. That ERA, which was hovering right around 5, little misleading. Gave up 5 earned in his first outing. That was the first appearance for Lohman of the year in February against Dartmouth. And he's really tightened up since. There's the big hook. That one's just outside. By the way, it's Craig Barron behind the plate. Travis Carlson's the first base umpire. John Mang at second. Greg Street at third.
Right now, Fitz, if you're Lohman, you're trying to survive the first inning. It is not going great. No feel for the fastball at all right now. Just trying to find it.
And the count's 3-1.
Yeah, and I think even though Lohman's got great stuff, I'm giving Justin Rubin a take sign here if I'm Kevin McMullen. Really make Lohman find it.
Back-to-back walks to start the ball game.
I'll tell you, Fitz. Yeah, I'll tell you, if it's just Lohman desperately trying to find something he can lean on. Curveball, fastball in any location. It is a real struggle right now.
Ooh, 2-0 to tap it.
Yeah, and I think Virginia, you're going to make him throw a strike to each hitter. Put the pressure on Lohman, who's clearly uncomfortable in his delivery right now.
Welcome to Jim Patterson Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. We've got the 10th-ranked Cardinals, the 12th-ranked Cavaliers, the signature matchup of the college baseball weekend, the final of the regular season before postseason gets going next week. Glad you're with us with Mike Rooney, Kevin Fitzgerald with you. Just getting started in the top half of the first inning. And Alex Tappan, the 3-man of the order for Virginia, cracks one up the middle. The wave around third. Griff O'Farrell scores, and it's 1-0 Virginia.
I'll tell you, Fitz, that's really, really good hitting. That is a big boy at bat. You've got a pitcher in Lohman that just is really massive misses, not near the strike zone at all. The only pitch that's been remotely a strike has been the curveball. Tappan gets a 2-1 breaking ball. He's camped out on it. Beautiful line drive up the middle. Sometimes these guys that are walking everybody are hard to score on, and that is really well executed by Tappan.
The first 3 have reached, and Carter Lohman, he is the left-hander, the senior, who's made his 4th straight start, has allowed all 3 to reach, but he begins Jake Geloff off with a first pitch strike.
And you can see it's a lot of strikeouts and a lot of walks, and it's really good stuff. We've seen a high velocity fastball. We said strike 1 is critical fits. Strike 1 has been, it has been hard to come by.
Walked the first 2, then the recent base hit to Tappan. And you can't mess around to this dangerous righty. That is Jake Geloff. The sophomore, the everyday third baseman for Virginia, is hitting .380 this year. One of the more feared hitters of the ACC.
Boy, this is a scary pitch to Geloff right here. I mean, you could argue Geloff was the MVP of all of college baseball in the first half of the season. And if you flip a breaking ball in here, he could hit it out of the yard.
1-1 from Lohman, and Geloff was right on that one. Now 2 strikes on the cleanup man.
Credit Lohman here. Things are not going well, but getting himself to 2 strikes against Geloff, this would be an enormous punch out if he could pull this off.
Just outside with a breaking pitch. Those numbers you saw from Geloff. He's top 5 in the ACC in just about everything. Hitting close to 400 this year with runners at scoring position. Virginia dropped the opener yesterday. Scored just 1 run. And they've got a chance to knock Louisville down to the first inning. Still nobody out. We'll do the 2-2 again.
Boy, the Virginia bats are dialed in. For Geloff right there, it's a 2-2 breaking ball. He just fouls it off and gets himself to the next pitch. And Virginia, Lohman's going to have his work cut out for him once he gets in the strike zone, because Virginia looks locked in.
Lohman, who started this year coming out of the bullpen, has got a big one coming. Wave and a miss. Or a foul tip. Looked like Geloff. No, it was cleanly caught and secured by Jack Payton. So there's 1 gone.
Boy, this is a great pitch by Lohman under duress. Throws that back foot slider, starts in the strike zone and disappears on Geloff. That's one of the best hitters in the country. You just punched out right there. So really well done by Lohman.
Now it's Devin Ortiz. First pitch coming to the 5th-year senior. That one snags the outside edge.
These are tough ABs, Fitz. When a guy's spraying it around like this, it's really hard on the hitters.
One coming. Well, that one's right down the pipe. We've got some gusty, whole lot of wind today. Temperature right at 90 degrees. And everything blowing out right to left.
Yeah, any ball in the air today's got a chance to be an adventure. That you're going to want to pack a lunch on. Fly balls, even foul balls, have got a chance to blow back onto the field.
1-2, that one's in the turf.
You see Jack Payton back there, who's done a really good job in his second season at Louisville. It is not an easy day to catch when you have a pitcher that's just not settled in like this. And we know Lohman's got arm strength, but boy, it is really a sprayed fastball right now.
And so this is now the 24th pitch of the inning. 2-2. Chop towards second. This is Logan Beard. Only plays to first, so there's 2 gone.
I really like Fitz that Virginia was running here. You've got a left-handed pitcher who are notorious for not holding runners well. Also a guy who's really desperate to find the strike zone. And you just get preoccupied with the hitter, and Kevin McMullen puts a steal sign on there. Now you got 2 runners in scoring position with a guy that's got a wild pitch in him for sure.
And the table is set for Kyle Teal, who you spotlighted earlier. Left on left, and there is one that's in the turf once again.
Both of these lineups, Fitz, there is no place to hide. If I'm Dan McDonald and Roger Williams and I see Kyle Teal hitting 6th, hashtag are you kidding me? This kid's going to be a first-round pick next year and he's hitting 6th. So it is both of these teams very difficult lineups to navigate.
Yeah, 2 of the best offenses in the country, and Teal just got hit. Now the bases are loaded. So this rocky first inning continues for Lohman. The first 3 reached. Alex Tappan knocked in a run with a base hit. And they're loaded for Casey Sauke, who's had a terrific freshman season, hitting .348, second best average on the team.
Yeah, this is a highly touted kid. I would green light him right here.
And he had it. Strike 1. He already an arm that's beginning to get up. Evan Webster stretching out a little bit.
Not ideal, Fitz. Not ideal.
A couple times that breaking pitch has missed just off the outer edge.
Yeah, and you're just not going to get an expanded strike zone when you're spraying it like this. And, you know, Sauke is a really talented freshman, but there's swing and miss here. So I like what Virginia's doing. Give him 3 cracks at this.
Two and 1.
Well, I would say most dangerous pitch of the game right here. Wind howling out to left center field. Sauke, a strong, aggressive kid, and you would think he's going to be on time for the heater right here.
Lohman that time buries it at the knees, so he's a strike away from perhaps getting out of this inning by allowing just 1. Rubens at third, Tappan's at second, Teal at first. 2-2. That's into right, a base hit. 1 run scores, Humphrey's throw from... And now Louisville takes its first cuts of the day. This has been Metzinger to get things started. And Savino's first offerings outside. Metzinger, the Louisville native. You see the 16 homers coming out of today. The leadoff batter slot. And he's got a base hit to begin the frame.
Fitz, this does not feel like a great day for pitching coaches, but if you like offense, here we go. 2 really good lineups. A hot day, as you mentioned. It is going to be, you know, for Savino, he's got to get to the bottom of the zone. you can make great pitches and still get hurt against a lineup like Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville as a team hitting .305 this year. That's top 20 in the nation. Chopper left side off of Peyton's bat. 1 out at second. The return throw not in time to retire Peyton. So Metzinger is out. 1 out, 1 on. Dalton Rushing steps back in. There's defensive alignment for Virginia. Jake Geloff over at third. Griff O'Farrell, who tried to start that 6-4-3 double play. He's up the middle today with Justin Rubin, who makes a start for Max Codier. Devin Ortiz over at first. Tappan, Newell, Sauke left to right the outfield. And Savino working with Kyle Teal like he has all year.
2 ground balls for Savino to start, and I think that's exactly what you want if you're pitching coach Drew Dickinson. A ball in the air today is a problem. Keep the ball on the ground and trust that really good Virginia infield defense.
The winds are gusting 20+ miles per hour. And out to left.
Pitching coaches, hide your eyes. That is not your friend. Holy cow.
Count even to Dalton Rushing.
Sometimes it's the hitting coaches need to hide their eyes too, because your hitter, you're telling your hitters, hey, line drive approach today, and the hitters are like, I don't know about that, coach. Feels like a fly ball day to me.
Well, especially with some of the sluggers on this Louisville lineup card. "17 homers this year for Rushing. Now, could this be the 6-4?
They'll be at home all the way to Omaha if it holds.
Louisville right now, the Atlantic Division leaders after the Game 1 win yesterday. They still have an outside chance to win the ACC regular season title like it's done many times under Dan McDonnell. Connor Lohman with a little bit of a better start. The second inning, he's out ahead of Ethan Anderson, the switch hitter from Virginia Beach. Lohman walked the first 2 that he faced in the opening frame. Now fires, and that hook misses away.
You know, Fitz, you mentioned regular season title, and even in a huge league that's very competitive like the ACC, that matters to the committee. You know, that's a bullet point on a resume that matters big time, especially for what these 2 teams are going for.
And you see at the top, it needs a little help, as they say, as that one misses low. Miami won the opener against Notre Dame. They lead the Coastal Division. It has to lose twice to Notre Dame. Virginia Tech has to lose at least one of its final 2 against Duke. So a lot has to happen to make that come to fruition. Anderson fouls that off and keeps the at-bat going.
It's a lengthy if-then statement, if I remember computer classes well enough.
What is likely is Louisville, that fares well this weekend, could end up winning its division and be the number 2 seed in the ACC tournament next week. This is on the ground to Metzinger, and Anderson, who's pretty speedy out of the box, is retired, so 1 out in the second. Brings up Chris Newell, number 9 hitter in the Virginia order.
Yeah, I would say Chris Newell, very similar to Kyle Teal. Chris Newell injured his foot recently and back in the lineup today for the first time in a little while. And you can see 6'3", 200 pounds, left-handed hitter, double-digit home runs. He's a threat for 20 steals. So Chris Newell, exceptional athlete that's got huge upside.
Got the 11 homers coming out of the 9-hole. And it mentioned he's from Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. The factoid that we forgot, we left out here, is that he played his high school ball at Malvern Prep.
Fighting Friars. Let's go. Newtown Edgemont Little League, Fitz, if you don't mind. That's all. Go Green Machine. Chris Newell. I mean, he checks a lot of the pedigree boxes.
1-1 is just at the knees. A called second strike.
Boy, if you're Dan McDonald, this is tricky because you really love Lohman's competitiveness right now, but there are a lot of uncompetitive pitches intermixed in these strikes. He's still fighting himself out there.
Wave and a miss, and he gets Newell to chase. 2 gone.
Left on left, when Lohman can get to good counts, this slider's going to play. Chris Newell is a veteran hitter, very talented, and overwhelmed by that slider. Very nice job by Jack Payton scooping that.
So it's a complete 180. He walked the first 2 batters he faced in the first inning on 9 pitches. Only found the strike zone once when facing Griff O'Farrell and Justin Rubin. Then Alex Tappan drove home the game's first run. He was able to tighten up after that. And looking for the 1-2-3 inning, a bounce back in the second.
The concern for me is the misses are just so big. You know, the misses are not just miss the plate. It's, 8 inches off.
Well, you brought up a good point in the first inning. How does that influence the batter?
It makes it hard, but we're getting to the point with O'Farrell. This is second time through the order, so these guys have seen both pitches.
And nabs the inside edge, so the count's 3-1 to O'Farrell.
I think if you're Virginia hitters, you're trying to be really focused on something middle. You don't have to chase Lohman around.
Working fast, high chop. Lohman off the mound, fields his position well. Oh, his final weekend of its regular season. We've reached the penultimate game. Postseason starts on Tuesday for the ACC. That's the ACC tournament in Charlotte. And Mike, these two teams, they've just quite simply been two of the best, very consistent teams since this season got started back in February. They've been in the top 25 for the majority of the year, both clubs.
Yeah, both clubs kind of overwhelm you with just dynamic position player groups. Both groups, it plays, the athleticism plays offensively and defensively. I think the big difference is Virginia's much younger. Virginia's got 4 true freshmen in their lineup today.
Yep. And many have performed and beaten some expectations this year in a sense. Nate Savino was trying to retire Cam Masterman, looking at that breaking pitch of the outside edge. So the count's 2-2. Here's the opposite, or on the other side of the equation, you have a player like Cam Masterman, the redshirt senior, playing it at his 128th career game. He slides up to the cleanup spot today. Ben Metzinger hitting leadoff, slides everybody up a bit. Louisville still without Christian Knapczyk. Swing and a miss, and Savino has got his first punch out. Well, this is how the first inning ended for Nate Savino. And Mike, this is why everybody needs an editor, need a second chance at things. I said 6-4-3 double play. That is the very conventional, 5-6-3 double play. Thank you for bringing that to my attention with the shift on.
First time I've ever written that in my scorebook, and I'm here for it.
So here's the lefty, Levi Usher. A Fairfax, Iowa native. One of the best defensive center fielders in the nation. That might be an understatement. How many home runs has he robbed? He's up to like half a dozen at this point.
He should get at least half a point on his home run total for that, shouldn't he? Usher's one of those football athletes, though, Fitz, where just runs like a deer. There's strength. He's left-handed. He's an Iowa kid, so, a multi-sport Iowa kid. So catching up on the reps, but a ton of upside for Levi Usher.
Savino nearly found the strike zone after tumbling. So the count goes full.
Nate Savino, the ERA has elevated in the second half of the season, but he has been so huge for Virginia. This is their Omaha team last year. 70% of those innings from last year are gone. And someone like Nate Savino, who's making every weekend start, or a weekend start every single series, that's huge.
He just walked Usher, who is a big-time stolen base threat. He leads the ACC with 32. But Savino, he has taken that step forward. He was a vital arm out of the bullpen a year ago during that run to Omaha. 13th start of the year, actually threw a complete game shutout earlier this year, back in early March. That was against Duke, one of only 6 players in the ACC to post a complete game shutout this year. Usher with the sizable lead over at first. Logan Beard takes that on the inside edge for strike one.
This is where Louisville really overwhelms pitching. You've got Beard, who's physical, has got home run power. You've got Usher, who flies at first base. They really double team the pitcher. This is fun, Fitz. Louisville back with its swagger. Obviously missed the NCAA tournament last year after getting to Omaha in 2019. Virginia was a little uncharacteristic last year. Easy to forget, even though Virginia made that Omaha run at the end, there was a point in time in 2021 where Virginia's 4-12 in the ACC, and the ship is sinking. And boy, they went on a tear at the end.
The season, it really flipped. That was the 5th College World Series appearance under Brian O'Connor. All since 2009, the only 5 in program history. Boy, Usher was leaning a little bit.
Hashtag runnerish. Yeah, this is the chess match, because if Usher's going to steal on Savino, he's just going to guess and go first movement.
Three and one.
This is where, if you're Savino, Usher is a distraction at first base, but you got to make a pitch. You can't let this Louisville offense distract you.
Two aboard. You will be tested. This is the lefty Isaac Humphrey. He's reached safely in 17 of his last 18. Two on and one out in the second for the Cardinals. And Savino is paying particular attention to Usher, trying to catch him off of second base.
Yeah, that's smart, because Louisville, I'm telling you, Fitz, this is not a shrink the play clock offense. Louisville is up-tempo, and Dan McDonald wants to play aggressive, so you've got to address runners on base.
Humphrey hits that one over to first. Ortiz tries to start the double play. He retires Beard at second. Usher winds up at third. So there is 2 out, but runners at the corners.
Yeah, and that's where, if you're Virginia, having an uber veteran like Devin Ortiz at first base, you get Humphrey to roll over. This is not an easy turn, but keeping the runner out of scoring position is so critical. That's good defense.
Brings up Ben Bianco, the senior in the 8-hole. $11 homers for Bianco this year. He's hit at times in the 9 slot. A lot of power coming out of the bottom of the order.
Fifth-year senior. And you know, it's cool to see Ben Bianco's blossomed into a really viable offensive player. It's almost like a recruited walk-on for Dan McDonald. This is obviously Mike Bianco, Ole Miss's head coach's son, and he has turned into a force. It's cool seeing all these fifth-year seniors in college baseball. They're men playing.
It's really foreign to a lot of head coaches to have not just the seniors, but fifth-year seniors as well, just true veterans.
Yeah, especially a program like Louisville, to your point, Fitz. Like, they don't keep guys for 5 years. They get drafted and they sign.
Right. Savino misses inside. The count evens, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Big pitch right here.
Check swing. Bianco did go. Get against Wake Forest earlier this year. You see the tie in Louisville's record, top left of the screen. Their finale with Wake Forest a couple weeks ago ended in a tie. This is Carter Lohman back out for his 3rd inning. Really righted the ship a bit. Steadied in the 2nd. Went 1-2-3. Faces Justin Rubin, who he walked in the 1st. And you see a huge difference, Mike, through half the number of pitches in the 2nd that he did in the 1st.
Yeah, and you know, forced contact from 3 hitters. And we've seen it when Lohman's throwing strikes. The Virginia hitters have not been comfortable. It's a tough look.
2-1s on the outside edge to Rubin. Now the count evens.
You know, I think if you're Kevin McMullen, the third base coach for Virginia, you're saying to your guys, hey, Lohman seems to have turned the corner, and we are taking a lot of fastball strikes. That is probably something that's going to need to change.
2-2s just outside, so the count goes full. And this Virginia offense scored just 1 run yesterday. That's it. 1 run, 4 hits, and already have doubled the run production in the early innings. So that's the 2nd time Rubin has walked. 3rd batter that Lohman has issued the free pass to, plus he hit a batter.
And for Dan McDonald. Yeah, here's the problem, Fitz, is you do have a team with a team ERA of 5.14. So outside of Jared Poland and Michael Prosecki, who's been dominant as a closer, it's just been a lot of inconsistent performances on the mound. And I think Carter Lohman's a great example. It's a very talented staff, but one week you get dominance, the next week you get a ton of traffic. And that's going to be the difference between Omaha and just a really nice seed in the postseason for Louisville is pitching.
First pitch to Tappan misses away. But if there is one thing that Louisville does have, and unequivocally, it's got an ace in Poland, who you just mentioned. 7 innings yesterday, the 8 strikeouts. So you have Poland to rely on as the bedrock there of the rotation. And you're right, afterwards,
there he is.
Sometimes it's been a little hit or miss.
I whiffed on Jared Poland, Fitz. When I saw him in high school, I thought this kid was going to be an all-ACC hitter. I mean, just an athlete with size who could swing it. And now he's turned out to be one of the best arms in the league. And yeah, he's put the bat down, pitcher only now. And he can really spin it. Good fastball and a great slider.
The legend now only lives during pitcher's BP.
There you go.
That's it. A lefty-lefty matchup today. Lohman for Louisville, Savino for Virginia. Lohman keeping a close eye on Rubin. Tappan was late on that one. Strike 2.
Yeah, and easy to say, right? But that's what you can't do with Lohman is if he gifts you ball 2, you got to stay off that pitch. And Tappan's a 5th-year senior who has had an absolute breakout season for Virginia. He is going to have to really fight with 2 strikes now.
Average at .345 coming into this game. You got Rubin, the freshman, over at first. He represents one end of the spectrum. Tappan, the 5th-year senior, way outside.
I don't think, Fitz, you can. I think if you're Kevin McMullen, you probably put your running game away for a little bit. Steal third is one thing. Stealing second, you probably put that away because Lohman has not thrown enough strikes to merit taking chances on the bases.
Big one. This one smacked in the air, right center. Mentioned the breeze and the gusty winds in Humphrey. Had a bit of a scare that time. Had to tumble down and make the catch. One gone. That's the direction of the wind. It's right to left across the park. Remember, later tonight I mentioned Miami and Notre Dame. Second game of that series is right after us at 7 Eastern. Another top 15 battle. You've got 2 of them in the ACC this weekend to close out the regular season. Miami at 19-9. Right now, they'd be the 1 seed if they take care of business. And it could even go. It could win one of the next 2 in a sense if Virginia Tech loses one of its next 2 against Duke this weekend. Miami winners yesterday 6-4 in the opener. We just saw that Notre Dame team, so I would be surprised if it doesn't fight a little bit the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, and you know, for Miami, Fitz, they're dealing a lot in previous deposits. I mean, they've lost 3 of their their last 4 series, so they want to win a series and feel like they're getting right headed into the postseason.
It's a really quality team like Notre Dame. Lohman has missed a couple of times to Jake Geloff. He struck out in the first on what was that nasty breaking pitch from Lohman. That's what started him turning back in the other direction, getting right in that first inning. A little low, it's 3-0.
I think I might give Jake Geloff the green light here. Let him turn and burn on a fastball and trust him that if it's sprayed, he takes it. But with the wind howling out to left center, I'd love, if I'm Kevin McMullen, I want to give Jake Geloff a chance to elevate a baseball.
He's got 18 homers, 71 RBIs. Reluctantly lays off of that one, counts 3-1.
Boy, Lohman's fastball. The Virginia hitters, there hasn't been one take of that fastball you feel like, okay, they are on that pitch. It really surprises the hitter.
Lohman didn't pitch much his first couple of seasons. Freshman and sophomore years, just 12 1/3 innings total. That's it. Just outside, and he's walked Geloff. That's the 4th batter he's walked. About a time and a half through the order. He's got Devin Ortiz coming up. This year, though, Lohman has morphed into a starter that McDonald has gone to. 4th straight start. And on Saturday, his last outing against Clemson went season-long 6 innings. Through 105 pitches. That was in a 4-3 loss. That was a really arduous series last weekend. Louisville and Virginia Tech. The Cardinals won the opener, but then lost a couple of close ones next 2 days. Here's Ortiz. Attacks the first pitch. That one's foul.
Yeah, if you're Dan McDonald, you know, I think you're looking at your pitching staff like, guys, we need 6. We know Poland is going to be a guy. We know Michael Pasecki has found his niche. Riley Phillips is out with injury right now, and that's a loss. Tate Keener's become a bullpen arm, but you know, man, if they could just find 6 or 7 arms, this team's got Omaha upside. They just absolutely do.
That's where this team went in 2019, a few years ago. Boy, that one nearly skipped away after Lohman tried to catch Rubin napping at second.
You had 2 left-handers on the mound. People are going to want to steal third. There you go. 3 trips to Omaha. That is, Louisville went before Dan McDonald 1 trip to the NCAA tournament all time. Now 5 trips to Omaha.
It's amazing to see the growth of the program. And again, just this fact that Louisville has a chance to win another crown, another league crown. That has become the bar. That has become the standard.
Yep.
That's fouled against. The count's 1-2.
It's when Louisville under Dan McDonald went to the ACC, you know, they were in the Big East, and then they were in the American, and they go to the ACC, and it's like, okay, now you're going to a big boy league, right? Like, no offense to those other leagues, but now here we go. Now you're going to find out, right? And Louisville spent the first 5 seasons in the ACC just taking people's lunch money. I mean, they didn't tiptoe into the league. They just started dominating people.
They won it 4 times over the last 7 years, or 7 seasons that were completed, I should say. Ortiz just got a piece of that one.
He just about fouled that off his foot. That's a really good breaking ball by Lohman. And that ball's right at the bottom of the strike zone. Well done.
Oh, yeah, more impressive that he got a piece of that one. It nearly hit the turf. Still 1 out for Lohman. And these base runners definitely have been a distraction for Lohman, no doubt about it. You got to keep him close. But he has spent some time these first few innings with Wahoos on the base paths. 1-2. Big hook is high and away.
Yeah, and I think you're getting to a pitch count and you know, the lack of strikes where Dan McDonald's probably going to make a move sooner than later. But I think the takeaway so far with Lohman is you love how he has fought through this on a day where he doesn't have his best stuff. But at the same time, you know, 36 out of 67 pitches have been balls. That is a very dangerous way to live.
Ortiz shoots that foul. Well, the good news, too, about yesterday's game, especially for one that was scheduled to begin after a start time adjustment at 4 Eastern and did not end until 12:30 in the morning thanks to weather delays, lightning delays. Louisville's relatively fresh arm-wise, only used Pasecki out of the bullpen yesterday. Poland went 7. They did play on Tuesday, defeated EKU 10-3. Do this again. Ortiz thought about it. Counts full.
Yeah, and you know, Pasecki only threw 28 pitches yesterday, Fitz. So I think if Dan McDonald, if this game starts to turn where Dan McDonald feels like he's got a chance to win it late, I think Pasecki's going to be on the table. He won't throw all 3 days, but I think he'd be in play today.
Let's see if Virginia can add on more. It's been a nice battle here. Ortiz swings and hammers it. He's taking a peek. This one, no, Downer is gone. Ortiz's 6th of the year, a left hip.
Boy, that's a great at-bat where Ortiz, you know, fouling off pitches that were all over the stadium and keeps fighting, and then just gets to a hanging breaking ball. And to your point, Fitz, once this got airborne, she gone. No chance that was staying in
Like,
here.
where did this one wind up? They're still running.
Seriously, they're going to have to hitchhike to go get that ball.
Into the parking lot. Well, you got the intel. You're a very well-connected man, many sources all over the place. You got the intel as we come to you from a couple of different time zones. You got the intel, stiff breeze, 20+ mile per hour gusts going out to left field. Wind tunnel.
Yeah, and it's that breaking ball that Lohman throws when it's elevated. It's just an easy pitch to get in the air for right-handed hitters. When it's down, it's been a swing and miss pitch. See, there's the Kyle Teal we got to know last year on the Omaha run as a true freshman. Fitz, where he swings so hard his helmet falls off.
Yeah.
Very New Jersey of him, no offense.
Oh, listen, you got a reputation.
That's right.
Gusts of upwards of 30 miles per hour. I think there was a jungle gym out there left. Is it safe to be on the swings? No, that ball was dropped. So Teal is aboard.
It did not look like a great flip from Bianco here, but certainly looked catchable. Teal's a great athlete. Even though he's a catcher, he's a very good runner. Oh, that's got to be caught by Lohman. And yep, that's got to be caught. You know, Fitz, Lohman's been very competitive in this game, but it's starting to sneak away from Louisville. I wonder if Dan McDonald maybe goes one hitter at a time right now. Boy, this is early to be getting in your pen, though.
Middle game of 3, and Virginia has the 5-0 lead in the 3rd inning. And they have had the pressure on Lohman from first pitch. Casey Sauke up for the 2nd time today. That was Webster in the bullpen. He started to get warm back in that 1st inning. And now he's starting to throw. Final series of the regular season. Postseason begins Tuesday in Charlotte with the ACC tournament. And then the NCAA tournament begins in 2 weeks. Boy, Sauke, one of those freshmen you mentioned. There's 4 of them in the lineup today. He has been brilliant. Just to be able to step in and perform the way he has. He's been a strength in the outfield. And he has attacked pitchers this year. 348 average. He's done it in bunches, too. He's got 6 3-hit games.
Yeah, these,
so
to your point earlier,
the zone.
Fitz, these guys have not played like freshmen. I mean, first of all, Sauke, he doesn't look like a freshman. 6'3", 200 pounds, runs like a deer. You know, high school shortstop. He could be, you know, he kind of feels like a Ryan Zimmerman type of guy. You could put him anywhere on the field.
Smacks that one back up the box. That's a base hit. And so the barrage continues. Has 9 base runners for Virginia. And still just 1 out in the 3rd.
Yeah, and I think if you're Dan McDonald, the biggest concern right now is, there you go, they're on the fastball now. So that leaves Lohman a little bit defenseless, and it's not ideal.
Playing in a regional in 2 weeks. Big moment right now. This is Evan Webster, 18th appearance of the year for Louisville. He comes out of the pen, replaces Carter Lohman. Quite simply just didn't have it. The starter for the Cardinals today allowed the 5 earned and 2 1/3, plus the 2 runners on belonged to the senior from Indiana. So now it is the Kentucky man, Evan Webster's turn. He's got 8, 9, and 1 coming up. This is Ethan Anderson, the freshman in the 8-hole, who again has been very valuable this year for Virginia. The switch hitter will stay on the right side. 2 on and 1 out in the third. And Webster finds the inside edge, strike one. And the key for Dan McDonnell is he's got a proven strike throw in a sense, like Webster, who is good at just attacking the zone. He's done that this year.
Yeah, Webster's stuff is not as overwhelming as Lohman's is, but he's much, the command is much greater. And so, you know, there's risk and reward here. If you're Dan McDonnell, you got to get strikes, but obviously fly balls are scary.
This one's in the air, out to straightaway center. Usher makes the catch. So now 2 gone. Runners stay put. Chris Newell's coming up. The 3 have come home in this inning, Mike, thanks to the Devin Ortiz 3-run blast. It was a no-doubter that rode that wind tunnel out to left field. Regardless, I think if the wind was blowing in from left, that one would have left the yard. 5th homer of the year for Ortiz. And make it the 6th part.
Yeah, great result, but an even better at bat. I mean, he really fought his way to that hanging breaking ball. That was a 5th-year senior at bat.
Now it's Newell. Webster finds the outside corner. That's strike one. Now Newell struck out in the first inning. Didn't play yesterday. Back out in center for the second game of the series. Popped up, that's foul.
Yeah, Chris Newell's a kid that will be a draft pick in July. You know, probably projected in the 3rd or 4th round right now. Because there's things you can't teach. Left-handed hitter, 6'3", runs like a deer. There's power. Throws the ball well from the outfield. Is a true blue center fielder. And, you know, the one challenge is there's been swing and miss at times, especially left on left.
Waiting on the 0-2. Takes that one high and away. Yeah, 56 strikeouts for Newell. It's the most on the team in 47 games. Virginia has erupted for 5 early runs after scoring just 1 yesterday. Runners going. 1-2 is slapped. That's through the left side, a base hit. The hit and run on. Teal scores. Helmet's gone. It's 6-0 Virginia.
Boy, that's really good offense by Virginia. Fitz. I mean, first of all, for Chris Newell, just a great job with 2 strikes. Getting a ball to the backside of the field. As good as Newell runs, any contact has got a chance. And, you know, you had Kyle Teal who was running on the play. And this is what the Virginia offense looks like when it's going great. There's home runs, there's aggressive base running, and really good 2-strike approach there by Chris Newell.
10 different hitters, or I should say 10 times Virginia's reached safely in this game. This is off of Griffo Farrell's bat, and it's dropped. The right fielder Humphrey caught it on the ricochet after it hit the turf. It's 7-0. Sauke comes in to score. The wind creating the atypical playing conditions today.
Yeah, that's just got to be Logan Beard's ball. As soon as you knew it was Bianco that was going to try and catch it, you knew you had a problem right there. The ball is just gusting back onto the field.
Boy, Humphrey, it came very close to catching that one after it was bobbled. And the big Virginia inning continues. Justin Rubin's the 10th batter to the plate. Rubin started this inning with a walk. He's walked twice. So now he takes a hack at the first pitch. That one's a nice breaking ball from Webster.
Yeah, and we're seeing if there are some hiccups for Louisville, some issues, we're seeing them, Fitz. You know, pitching depth is a challenge. The defense has been much improved year over year, but they're without their shortstop, Christian Knapczyk, who is really the leader of that defense, and it hasn't been clean defense today either.
Webster's a strike away from getting out of this, but enough damage has been done. Instead, he goes to first. This is a 5-run third inning for the Cavaliers. Oh-2 coming. That's in there. Called third strike. Inning is over.
And break a ball and hit it into orbit.
I love the alliteration, and I know you got to do it there for the alliteration. I would hope one is playing the role of Tommy out there. Got to have at least one of the two. Like Tommy's got to be on the birth certificate.
It's a pretty nice little Friday afternoon right there, is it not?
Yeah. Cats now 1-2 to Brandon Anderson. He's the freshman third baseman. It's only his 6th start of the year, but he's been pretty solid at .296 average. Count evens, 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, it is 90 degrees. The sun is out, no cloud cover. While you're out there, you got to get your tan on as well. Warm weather has rolled into Louisville. This one is cued slowly. Rubin picks it up, makes the play, scooped it in, and fading away from first, retires Anderson. That is not an easy play.
Man, for Rubin, I mean, you're working across your body. He ends up having to backhand this ball because he can't get around it, and then having to throw. I mean, you basically have to throw it to the right field side and let it run back. Boy, that is large league right there.
That's like when I'm teeing up my tee shot. I know I'm going to slice it. I just kind of I have to overcompensate, face basically the opposite direction just to hit the fairway. There was some tail on that one. This was just a hard hit ball out to left. Tappan is there, 2 gone, and Metzinger's retired.
Yeah, and this is where if you're Virginia, relying on Nate Savino being a veteran and just understand the game, where he basically just gave up 2 hits that are 2 outs. And if you're Nate Savino, you got to be okay with that. It's fine to keep trying to make better pitches, but the job right now is just poor strikes.
This is inside. 94 on the gun to Jack Payton, who's just such a dangerous hitter, hitting .356 this year. Played just 13 games as a freshman, though he was playing behind the #1 overall pick in last year's draft, Henry Davis. By all accounts, Henry was a heck of a teacher, motivator, and Payton was groomed in a sense underneath the Pirates' top selection a year ago. 1-2 coming from Savino. That one's fouled back.
I would have loved to have been part of those sessions, because Henry Davis is a kind of hardcore New Yorker.
Yeah.
And Jack Payton is a, kind of that tough Chicago guy. And I would have loved to see that the competitiveness between the two of them must have been really fun.
Wave and a miss, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Savino at the University of Louisville. Just one of the best people that you can run into, a staple in that athletic department for many, many years. and really neat, honored. He's got himself a jersey, a nice something very special to commemorate his 4 decades, Mike, at U of L.
One heck of a run, 39 years.
Gets the curtain call there. Alex Tappan, meanwhile, begins the 4th, the leadoff single. That is now a dozen Virginia hitters have reached. That's 12 base runners, I should say. And Tappan's 2 for 2, so all smiles. How do you attack a hitter like Jake Geloff now, who's hitting .380?
Yeah, I mean, you literally have to make perfect pitches. You can't let him settle into a pattern. There's not a pitch he can't hit. He can hit off speed. He can hit fastball. I think fastball in's got to be part of the equation if you're going to just try to beat him away. You've seen him hook a lot of home runs this year, but it's a chore. It's easy to say. It is not easy to execute.
It's fouled off of Peyton's mask. And so, if for nothing else, Webster is out ahead of one of the more feared hitters in the ACC.
Just amazing that Jake Geloff really last year was Zach's younger brother. He was just the throwing guy.
Right.
Zach was a very high pick, a 2nd-round pick last year out of Virginia, so he's a great player in his own right. But boy, Jake Geloff has blossomed this year.
You talk about a high bar. We were talking about that a moment ago in the prior half inning. That one misses way high. Webster using the dust as the scapegoat there didn't have the right footing. But Zach, to your point, is tearing it up at the AA level. So his ascent through the Oakland system is beginning. It's already begun. Webster, the first arm out of the pen. Delivers. Wave and a miss, and Geloff couldn't catch up to the heat, so one gone. It's the 2nd time he struck out, a little out of sorts today. And Devin Ortiz is coming up.
Well, that'll do it. I mean, Nate Savino just continues to settle into this game, and Louisville's pitchers, Webster's trying. There's been some hard hit balls off of Webster, but he has steadied the ship somewhat.
Ideally, if you were Dan McDonald, to your point, you were counting on Carter Lohman going longer than just 2 1/3 innings. Ortiz takes that one outside. Counts 1-0.
I think that the biggest challenge for Dan McDonald right now, obviously, this is an offensive day where you can come back and win this game. But if you're Dan McDonald, the other thought you're having is, man, what do I, is Carter Lohman the right guy for the Saturday role, or maybe is there a different role where his stuff would be more effective? Because we're getting to the point in the year, Fitz, where this game was kind of mangled from the jump for Louisville, and you just put so much pressure on your offense. And again, Lohman's got great stuff. There's a role for him on this pitching staff. The question is it Saturday starter?
And the time is now to figure that out. I mean, we're about to enter postseason play starting Tuesday. Once Tuesday begins, that whole second loss thing is going to end some seasons.
Yeah, I'm sure Dan McDonald's thinking the time to figure that out was actually February, but it would be, that's ideal. It never works that way. But that said, there's a lot of talent on this Louisville staff, but finding roles has been an ongoing challenge. I think you could say the same thing for Virginia to a degree. It's a smaller subset of permutations for Virginia, but both teams are trying to find enough pitching to complement what are absolutely Omaha caliber position player groups.
2-1 to Ortiz. Yeah, he's behind the heat. Strike 2. By the way, that home run for Ortiz, Virginia's 68th this year, that's now a new single-season home run record. They have surpassed what the 88 Wahoos did. They had 67 that year. 68 and counting.
Crazy. With 4 freshmen in the starting lineup.
Yep.
Virginia's park does play big, so that's part of that. But Jake Geloff is another part of this. When you have a guy that just goes off like Geloff's done, that helps.
18 of those 68. Tap it at first, 1 away. Webster looking to retire Ortiz. Here it comes. He swings and hammers it. Ortiz now with a pair of really hard hit balls today. So now you got 2 on in the 4th.
Boy, Ortiz's at-bats are so good. He takes some risks early in the count, and then the deeper he gets, the longer the at-bat goes, he just is so locked in on your stuff. So that's a home run on a breaking ball, and right there, that's a seed on a fastball.
Here's Kyle Teal with a pair on.
It doesn't matter where Brian O'Connor puts Kyle Teal in this lineup. He's the guy that I think really, even more than Jake Geloff, I think Kyle Teal's the guy that scares the opposing pitching coaches. Certainly Geloff has their attention. There's no question about that. But Kyle Teal is an explosive player.
Sophomore from Mahwah, New Jersey. Leans back a bit, counts 1-0.
And you love that Teal's he's done a great job this year taking his walks. I mean, 48 walks and hit by pitches to just 29 strikeouts. I am surprised his production numbers aren't greater, but I think he is doing what Brian O'Connor's asking, which is if they're not going to give you what you want, take the walk.
On that patient approach, coupling with some of the pop that you mentioned. He's got 17 extra base hits, 9 doubles, 6 homers. Now, sure, yeah, that pales in comparison a bit to what Geloff has done. Nevertheless, still dangerous. In the driver's seat, now it's 3-0.
All that said, I would absolutely give him the green light right here. I don't see Kyle Teal. I've not seen him use the other side of the field a ton in his career. Feels like a lot of the power has been to the pull side, but if he lofts the ball to left center field, I don't think it's staying in the yard.
You have had the green light on all day. It has not turned red or yellow. That one's down the middle.
Very easy for me to green light guys, Fitz. A, there's no ramifications. B, they're not listening to me.
If it makes any difference, I'm listening.
Thank you.
I value the green light here.
Appreciate that.
Now they can't hear me either, so that's also a problem.
That's right.
Oh boy. Big swing and a miss. Now the count goes full. And Teal has to readjust the helmet. It almost went flying after the swing.
Yeah, and that's, I wouldn't necessarily call that an overswing. It's definitely uphill, but that's just how Kyle Teal plays. Everything is a million miles an hour.
Throw to second, and they pick off the runner. Tappan is out. All those checks, and this time it finally works for Webster.
I wonder if Tappan was cheating to try and steal there. It is a left-handed hitter, so that's not a great opportunity for a stolen base.
just as he was leaning. Now the scenario changes. There's 2 gone.
And so it's both of these guys turned the programs into national powers.
Virginia winning a national championship in 2015. Boy, a wild sequence to begin the 4th inning. Dalton Rushing is going to be aboard. Bounce that one to the left side. Little trouble. Virginia couldn't handle it, so Nate Savino now will pitch out of the stretch.
Yeah, I like Justin Rubin. I know he's playing super deep, and maybe that's just too deep. He can't get there, but anytime you have your first baseman having to charge the ball and throw to a left-handed pitcher like that, that is low percentage. I guess it's one of those things, Fitz, when you have an extreme shift and you got a second baseman in right field, you're vulnerable to that triangle play.
Vulnerable is the perfect word. And you're right. You saw Savino lunging, reaching back across his body. It was not a pretty sight. First pitch to Masterman is hacked foul. So it is an error on Ortiz, the first baseman, the errant flip. It looked like Savino was going to cover in time if that was an on-target flip.
Yeah, Savino's a good athlete coming off the mound. I mean, even though he's young for his grade, Savino, in his 3 years at Virginia, has really developed into a guy that checks all the boxes. He throws strikes, he holds runners, he fields his spot. That is a tough play, though. It's a tough error.
Mike, he graduated from Potomac Falls High December of 2019. He enrolled at Virginia that next January, just several weeks later. He actually logged 4 outings. He started 3 games in that truncated 2020 season. So you're right. Technically, he's a junior. When it comes to age and the class that he should be in, he should, in essence, be a sophomore.
And he was a highly touted kid. If he had stayed for his senior year, he's probably a first-round pick. And so the pandemic has really hurt his development, too.
Sure.
I think of him as a sophomore in college age-wise, but I also think of him as a guy that lost his freshman season. He lost his freshman summer. Those valuable reps just weren't available to him and anybody else, really.
Two is popped up, right side, foul ground. Watch the wind go to work. That's a fair ball. O'Farrell was off the bag, making Rubin, and so 2 runners are aboard.
Justin Rubin had the right idea, knowing that this was going to eventually be his ball, even though he's playing the pull. But even Justin Rubin overruns it. Boy, it is tough in the air right now.
Again, right to left across the diamond, about a 20-mile-per-hour breeze. Been pretty consistent. 15, 20 mile per hour. There it is. Boy, did you see where Ortiz began? The first baseman was at foul ground. He realized this thing isn't going to fall foul.
Yeah, and
so 2 aboard for Louisville.
Rubin had the right idea that even though he was playing right by second base, he had the right idea that, hey, I got a chance to make this play. But, you're taught anytime you're running to the stands, be careful because the ball will blow back over you. And for Rubin, it just overran it. Little team meeting here. I like this. I'm sure Dan McDonald's saying to his team, hey, this is an offensive day, and the at-bats have got to, the quality of the bats has got to ratchet up a notch or two, because Evan Webster just gave you a chance. Evan Webster, in that 4th inning, that was as clean as it's gotten for Louisville defensively.
1-1 from Savino. Outside edge, called second strike to Levi Usher, who tried to bunt a moment ago. It went foul. Savino fires. That one misses outside.
That'll be the next development for Nate Savino. I love the sinking fastball. He's pretty old-fashioned the way he pitches. Just a loose left-handed athlete. I think the velocity's going to climb too, but there's just not an out-pitch breaking ball yet. Almost pitches like Cliff Lee for me, Fitz. Kind of that lefty that just chucks it in there with movement over and over again.
Just tight. Count goes full. He had all those great years. Cliff Lee, a brilliant comparison. All those great years in Cleveland, Philadelphia for several years, won a Cy Young.
They loved him in Philadelphia. Arkansas Razorback, Cliff Lee. Boy, Louisville they're punching back right now. These are good at bats.
Payoff. This one's cued in the air. Oh, Farrell dives and makes the catch. Nearly had a shot to double up, rushing at second.
Boy, this is a great play. If Griff O'Farrell does not catch this in the air, it's all kinds of problems, because as good of a runner as Usher is, you let that get to the turf, I think we're looking at bases loaded, nobody out. That is a really heady play by Griff O'Farrell.
That's a freshman making that play. At this point, by the way, freshman year's over in a sense. I think academically, he has looked at time as a much more mature than what his age indicates. That one falls in, and Louisville may have its first run of the game. Rushing comes the junior from Sterling. That's outside of Washington, D.C. Faces Isaac Humphrey.
This is where you got to stay in the strike zone if you're Nate Savino. The gasoline on the fire would be a walk.
Tags the outside edge.
That's a good pitch. 91 was sink. That is a big boy pitch right there. Well done by Nate Savino.
Gets Humphrey to bounce to the right side, but it's a base hit. Louisville has scored twice. Throw from right, not in time. Beard slides in, and Humphrey makes it a 7-2 game.
On a day like today, the turf is super fast. Balls in the air are very difficult to play. Contact is your friend, and to Louisville's credit, they're making a lot of contact this inning, and going first to third is never a question with Louisville. They are doing it. It is a very good base running team.
Now Ben Bianco steps in for the second time. Savino struck him out in the second inning. And we've seen this consistently too the last time through the order, in a sense. The Louisville hitters have fought off a whole bunch of pitches. They've got 3 singles in this inning, plus the 2 runs.
I think that shin high fastball is the answer if you're Nate Savino. You're trying to run roll Ben Bianco over into a double play ball. Not a great runner. Turf will play fast. A ball in the air, though, could be a problem.
On one's just outside. There's the right-hander warming up in the Virginia bullpen. To second, bobbled, Geloff, initial bounce. So here's Brandon Anderson. Still have a man at first, that's Bianco. And he swings over the breaking stuff, strike one.
Not an easy day to play defense, but Virginia is sped up right now. They need to get in the dugout in the worst way.
Anderson shoots it to left. Tappan is there.
And they created an inning there, and we just got to hang in there. Things are going to happen. Wind's blowing out, and we just got to hang in there and do the best we can.
Hey, Oak, what do Nate Savino deserved better fate last inning, but what do you need from him in this type of game right now?
Well, he's done a nice job of managing it right there. That was a tough inning. There wasn't a lot of hard hit balls, but it could have gotten out of hand there a little bit. Coach Drew and I will talk here. We might, we're going to talk about whether we're going to make a switch. He's been through the lineup twice, and he's, pitching on short rest. He started on Sunday last weekend because we had a bunch of rain, so we'll see what we're going to do here.
Coach, good luck the rest of the way. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nate Savino, he had to throw, Mike, to your point and to Brian O'Connor's point right there, as Sauke hits that one hard but foul. He'd throw quite a number of pitches, a high number of pitches in that fourth inning.
Yeah, and this final weekend, almost across the country, is Thursday, Friday, Saturday games as teams get ready for conference tournament play. And Brian O'Connor mentioned rain last weekend, so it does get tricky.
0-2 from Webster is close, but a little high and tight, so it's ball and 2 strikes. This is Webster's second full inning. He came out of the bullpen in the third for Louisville. Carter Lohman only lasted 2 1/3 innings. Sauke, one of the 4 freshmen in the lineup. The underclassmen, well represented when it comes to some of the power numbers. Jake Geloff, we've talked about, with 18 homers. He's a sophomore in this order. This one shot out to deep left center. Levi Usher, he can't rob this one. Another blast. Sauke goes yard. A 3-for-3 day, and Virginia gets one back immediately in the 5th.
Looked like Evan Webster's trying to come in with a fastball here, and he misses middle, and Sauke got it, but Levi Usher's reaction tells you everything you need to know. You get a ball elevated in the middle of the field or to the pull side, Levi Usher's telling you, I got no chance to catch this baseball. Uh-oh.
Now Ethan Anderson. This one's back at the wall. Virginia goes back to back. Veteran presence, and elite freshman sophomores as well. Newell perhaps may find the wall here. Masterman cuts it off in the gap. So Newell has himself his second base hit of the day, and the first 3 Cavalier losses. He's only logged 14 2/3 innings this year, and he gets a menacing Virginia team right now. Everybody is just mashing. 9 runs and 11 hits. And this is the leadoff man, Griff O'Farrell, who gets it started.
Yeah, Grundy's one of several very talented Louisville freshman arms. But again, it's a year where you've heard people say the reason offense is up is because you've got some old hitters in college baseball that have not been very kind to young arms. And Grundy, you'll see the talent, but, like any freshman, the refinement is to come.
3 homers for the Cavaliers today. It's just been a barrage of offense. Grundy, meanwhile, last pitched 6 days ago. That was Saturday at Virginia Tech. O'Farrell's been trying to lay this bunt down. This one was never touched by Grundy, so it rolls foul.
Tell you what, he did everything but touch it. He danced with the baseball, but he did not touch it apparently.
So there might have been a split-second thought to maybe lay out for this.
Yeah, he did not. You're right. Maybe more than a split second.
When that baseball hit the turf, had that immediate spin. Grundy almost kicked it looked like, unintentionally, of course. Man at first with nobody out. 1-2 to O'Farrell. Now he swings away, fights that one off. On the ground is short. Metzinger trying to start the 6-4-3. O'Farrell's too speedy, so Louisville does retire the first batter here in the 5th. And so Grundy has recorded an out.
Yeah, again, Metzinger filling in. Has been the everyday third baseman filling in for Christian Knapczyk, who has been obviously a second-year starter at shortstop for Louisville, but I think more important than the defense, he has been the igniter at the top of the lineup for Louisville. So they need Christian Knapczyk back for sure.
Yeah, suffered that it was an ankle injury on a slide a couple of weeks back against Wake Forest. He spent some time in the walking boot. This is Justin Rubin.
Grundy's a strike thrower. I wonder if hit and run would be on the menu for Kevin McMullen here. With your, Justin Rubin, I would consider him an old-fashioned two-hole hitter, guy that handles the bat, takes pitches, executes, move the baseball.
Oh, 1 is hammered foul, so the count's 0-2.
Now this is, I know in today's baseball, four-seam fastball up in the zone and vertical breaking ball, those are the in vogue pitches, but today is a day that you want the ball on the ground. I'm sure Dan McDonnell and Brian O'Connor are thinking, where are my sinker ballers when I need them?
Big one coming from the freshman. Instead, though, he checks on O'Farrell at first.
Rubin does make a lot of contact, so if you want to run, he's a guy you figure he's either going to take a ball or put a strike in play.
One-two is close, but outside.
I think this is a way, but it is, yeah, that's a way. But if you're Justin Rubin, you're definitely trusting Craig Barron on that one.
Yeah, Barron has not, he's not been given that strike call to a pitch, maybe a ball length or two on the outside edge. That one gets by Peyton. O'Farrell with a large turnaround second, but he stays there.
I like that. You know, Kevin McMullen running the offense from the third base coach's box. You're thinking that if Grundy throws that curveball, it's going to be a really tough pitch for Jack Payton to handle. If he throws the fastball, Ruben's going to put that on the field. Ruben's a guy that makes a ton of contact.
Here's McMullen. He's over at third. Matt Kirby coaches first. Here we go, the payoff. Yes, that's off that outer edge. And Justin Rubin has just worked his third walk today. Like Grundy was close a couple of times, but now he's got to reset, refocus with Alex Tappan stepping in. It's 2 for 3. Drove in a run in that first inning. Virginia has punched right back. The Cardinals scored 3 in the fourth, only to watch the visitors play 2 more here in the fifth inning. The lead extended back to 6. Tappan jams it through the right side, a base hit. Humphrey coming up throwing. He's already thrown one man out at the plate and another. You see now the infamous signal that you're seeing all across college baseball. That time O'Farrell immediately signaling to the dugout to say, let's go check it. I might have gotten my hand in there.
Boy, he looks safe to me, Fitz. Another great throw by Isaac Humphrey. Watch this left hand.
Yeah,
oh,
safe.
Gosh. Easily safe, right? I think Craig Barron's just really blocked by the catcher there. Yeah, that's going to be an easy turnover. Now, here's the gamesmanship, Fitz. If you're the other umpires, do you stay in there a little extra long just so your buddy doesn't feel badly? You don't want to come flying out like, oh yeah, that wasn't even close.
Yeah, the secret is
Stall.
out when our camera cuts to them playing rock paper scissors shoot just to kill some time.
That's right.
It's there you go. So it's confirmed now. O'Farrell was indeed safe. Humphrey, a heck of an effort from right field to make that thing close. Now it's 10-3. It's 3 runs immediately on the heels of Louisville's first 3 in the bottom half of the fourth. So Tappan is now driven in a pair. Yeah, that wasn't the. It's not the most spacious, lavish replay review room for the umpires. Doesn't look like there's much air conditioning in there either. So out they go. Still 1 out, runners at the corners. And here's the cleanup man, Geloff, who surprisingly, of all the hits in the barrage of offense that we've seen, Geloff's without a hit. This is his 4th plate appearance. Struck out twice, also walked.
And look out here. I think Geloff is going to sell out for a fastball. Grundy's starting to lose the feel for the breaking pitch.
Freshman facing the very difficult right-hander in Geloff. And he's out in front, 2 balls, no strikes.
I like what Grundy's trying to do. He's trying to go fastball in off the plate and then complement that with that slower 12-6 breaking ball. But you get in a 2-0 count like this with Jake Geloff, 2 runners on, this is problematic.
Geloff holds the swing, 3-0.
And when you say holds the swing, Fitz, you say all caps holds the swing. I mean, Jake Geloff wanted to swing in the worst way right here. Yes, he was in go mode.
He almost wound up doing a somersault, a tumble there. 3-0 green light. Deep center. Usher watching it. Goodbye. There's your green light. The 19th homer of the year. 13-3. Virginia, a day after, not even a day, considering when last night's game ended, but a day after recording just 4 hits, no extra base hits, and a 4-1 loss yesterday. The game ends, by the way, after midnight, 12:30 a.m. to be exact. Virginia doesn't get back to its hotel till 1:30. You've got the quicker turnaround today with a 4 Eastern start time. A little early evening, late afternoon start. And Virginia arrived at the park yesterday at 2 o'clock. That was because the 6 p.m. start time got moved up. Ultimately, yesterday's series opener didn't get started due to weather and lightning delays until about 9 p.m. It's a long time to just be waiting around in unfamiliar confines. Nate Savino back on the mound. He got his glove on that Ben Metzinger bouncer up the middle. Louisville's going to start with a base runner aboard in the home fifth.
Here we go, Fitz.
Yeah, you like this?
Very much.
We got some pods. The ACC Championship begins next week in Charlotte. As of right now, with a game and a half left for both of these squads, Louisville would be the 2 seed as the Atlantic Division leader. Miami, of course, right now leads the Coastal. Virginia Tech, who has the second best record winning percentage behind Miami, would slide to that 3 slot because you reward the division winners. Geloff, oh, he does it with the glove as well. 1 away.
Nice play by Jake Geloff. I love how he doesn't even consider the in-the-air throw, just trust the turf. It's a nice job by Devin Ortiz, too. That throw's not easy to tangle with. Well done. That's good defense.
It is really strange, Mike. You have to factor that in when you play at an all-turf field. There are several around the ACC. Notre Dame plays on the all-turf surface. This is Dalton rushing. That one's up high. And just the way the ball sprays off the bat, bounces towards you as an infielder, it's different. It's coming at you at a different speed, bounce, etc.
Yeah, that's one of the things you talk to coaches about playing Louisville at Louisville, and they just say, hey, it's everything about it is difficult. The turf is fast. Louisville's fast. Louisville hits for power. The park plays offensive. Louisville's really built for their park, and another reason why home field advantage in the postseason is so critical.
Here is, though, the one glaring difference between maybe Notre Dame's Frank Eck Stadium and where we are here, Jim Patterson Stadium. Yes, there is it's like the reverse desert philosophy there. You do have a little bit of dirt. That is, the mound is dirt. Whereas at Notre Dame, it's turf.
I do like that. I like the dirt mound and the turf, everything else. That said, in South Bend, where the weather is no bueno, turf everything's probably the best move.
3-1 misses away, so rushing is aboard. .78 pitches now for Savino. He's getting set to battle with Cam Masterman for the 3rd time today.
Now, Masterman's a double play candidate, not a great runner. Usher is a left-handed hitter, so I think Savino's got 2 more hitters.
That one slapped back foul. And he's got one gone in the 5th.
Sorry, Fitz. I've always been a fan of the ACC tournaments. A unique format. You saw the 4 pods, round robin play, and then it's single loss elimination when you get to the semifinals. But this year in particular, when you're going to have 12 teams show up in Charlotte with the NCAA tournament on the line, or some version of that.
It really does feel like all 12. You know, they've got paths. They've got pretty legitimate paths to reaching the NCAA tournament. Down the right field line. And there's Sauke for the second out. Louisville will be the 2, as I mentioned before. Right now, Virginia would be slotted as the 5 seed.
And I think that's why you'll see Savino come out of this game fairly quickly, because it's possible he's pitching on Wednesday or Thursday of next week.
That's Kasonovich in the bullpen, ready to go at any moment. Bouncer to second. Sauke retires Usher, so
anybody in our ACC tournament has a chance to make a run to Omaha. The parity has been unbelievable this year. Feels like every weekend, I mean, we are just in a dogfight. But that's what we want. I mean, I think that's what we want as a league, and it's been exciting to see where we're at.
Well, and you guys have been one of the consistent forces in this league this year. So, Coach, best of luck to you the rest of the way this series, next week in Charlotte and beyond.
Amen. Thanks, guys.
And perhaps ruins a deep one, a deep postseason run.
Yes, there's so many times in the postseason, Fitz, where offense wins the day, and this Louisville offense can trade punches with anybody.
Here's the first batter retired by the new arm on the mound for Louisville. Cade Grundy, who was on the slope, was replaced by Caleb Corbett. 19th appearance of the year for Corbett. 21 strikeouts and 21 1/3. That ERA, a little inflated. It's 8.86. But he retires Sauke, homer to start the 5th inning. Now it's Ethan Anderson. He's a switch hitter, so this is his first time on the left side of the plate.
Corbett's interesting. This, you know, every once in a while at this time of the year, Fitz, there's pitchers that have stats that aren't great looking, but get on a roll, and put Caleb Corbett in that group of guys that, I mean, you look at what he did last year. He was dominant at times.
A sophomore from right here in Louisville. Big hook. Anderson tried to wait on it, but he pulls it foul. Last year for Corbett, the ERA was at 3.58. Appeared in 17 games. He actually saved 4 ball games. Hitters only hit 235 against him. 1-2. And that one just balloons out of the zone off of Peyton's mitt.
Yeah, you think about last year for Louisville, and Caleb Corbett was one of them. The pitching injuries just grew to the point of it couldn't overcome it. And it really rocky finish to the season for Louisville, such that they missed the NCAA tournament, which is so unusual for this program. But it was health on the mound was the problem. Certainly catcher wasn't the problem when you have the first pick in the draft, Henry Davis.
First round, first pick. You bring up a great point. I mean, last year was the first time in 10 years that Louisville was absent for the NCAA tournament. Two. That's fouled out of play again.
Yeah, usually, Fitz, we're surprised if Louisville's not hosting a regional, let alone, I mean, Dan McDonald has set the bar so high. I would tell you this is a top 5 program nationally. Top 5, and that is rarefied air.
Anderson keeps fighting off pitches. Count stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes. I mean, it's the development you're going to get under a coach like Dan McDonnell, the facility you're going to play in, the resources that this university has from an athletic department standpoint. Mix it all together, it makes sense. 2-2 now. This is the 8th pitch of the at-bat. And Corbett gets Anderson swinging at the high heat. 2 gone.
Vertical breaking ball with a fastball up over the hands. That'll do it. Caleb Corbett showing you some of the stuff that earned him that closer's role. What I've been told, Fitz, is that Dan McDonnell called this year in the offseason. He kind of got his team together and said, boys, this is the revenge tour this year. We got left out last year. That's not how we roll at Louisville. And I remember interviewing Dan McDonnell earlier in the year and saying, hey, love the way you guys are playing. There's that edge and that grit and that energy that we come to know with Louisville baseball. And the truth was he didn't want to hear my compliments at all. He's like, just take those compliments and get out. This is the revenge tour. We're playing angry. We're playing with a chip on our shoulder. We'll take all the compliments after the season. You just leave those at the door.
They'll take those compliments in Omaha at TD Ameritrade.
But of course, we're missing part of that today. Not seeing Christian Knapchick play shortstop for Louisville because he's a big part of the engine. Undersized guy with big energy from Chicago. He's got that attitude and that swagger that we associate with Louisville baseball.
That's your everyday starting shortstop who's been out for a couple of weeks now. Counts 3-1 on Chris Newell. Now it's gone full. Yeah, there's Knapchick.
Coach
testing out that ankle.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good sign for Louisville baseball fans right there.
Great stuff from our crew to get that shot earlier. He's been hired as a part-time first base coach at times of late. Yeah, look, there are the numbers right there, Mike. They speak for themselves. .335 hitter. That injury occurred nearly 2 weeks ago, May 7th against Wake Forest. Payoff coming to Newell. He's done a nice job of fouling some pitches off. This one, though, rolls up the line, and it's Corbett is going to dig down or retire the number 9 hitter. That one spiked, and so Virginia has a base runner. That's Jimmy Sullivan, by the way, who works the walk. He replaced Chris Newell.
It gives Brian O'Connor a chance to get Chris Newell off his feet. Had a foot injury, stepped on some glass, and so get him some more rest as he's working his way back. Newell had really good at-bats today. He was excellent.
And a pair of hits. So back to the top of the order, this is Griff O'Farrell. A 10-run lead for Virginia. Five in the third, 6 in the fifth. 2 big innings. Now Corbett trying to find the zone. He's misfired twice to O'Farrell. He retired the first 2 he faced before walking Sullivan.
tell you, Fitz, this becomes a little bit of a tryout for the Louisville bullpen. If you made me pick, I would tell you the trusted arms in the Louisville bullpen, besides Michael Prosecki, like he's the closer, that's locked down. Ryan Hawks, Garrett Schmeltz, Tate Keener, who had been the Friday night guy, Alex Galvan. I don't think we're going to see any of those guys with a 10-run deficit. Those guys are going to be tomorrow.
Instead, you got Cameron Robinson starting to get loose. Again, for Louisville won the opener yesterday. And this is a game in which Virginia has just controlled from the jump. Yeah, talk about a little revenge compared to a night ago. Three-2 to O'Farrell. Hit in the air. This one blasted out to right. Humphrey underneath. Whole, post-show routine. Mike.
Flush. It's part of your post-game flush. Nate Savino, good on you. He's been such a key for Virginia this year.
Yeah, he's been really reliable. 13th start of the year is a good one. Of course, you look at the score, he's in line for the win, no doubt about it. So now it's Kasanovic. Logan Beard.
You
Sixth
think
man
about
of the Louisville order.
Think about that Omaha team last year, Fitz, for Virginia. I mean, Andrew Abbott was the guy. That was the horse at the top of the staff. He's gone. He's in pro ball. Griff McGarry, who was one of those guys that came out of nowhere and got hot, and 5th-round pick of the Phillies, he's gone. Mike Vassell, he's gone. I mean, there was a void in that rotation, and Nate Savino's been huge picking up some of that slack.
Look at Savino's numbers compared to what the Louisville pitchers had to endure today. Just the 1 earned run, so 3 came home to score in that 4th. Due to an error, only 1 earned. And he just gutted through lengthy at-bats and grinded through that 4th inning.
Couldn't have been a worse day to pitch, by the way. Like, no offense, pitchers, but like you're facing Louisville's lineup on this nuclear turf with the wind howling out. Like, bad conditions, not good.
1-0 is hit hard to the right side. Ortiz flips to Kasanovic, 2 gone.
Maybe that's why you put Paul Kasanovic in there. He don't care. He's like Rocky Balboa for Virginia's bullpen, just throwing punches.
Ben Bianco takes it on the outside edge, strike 1. Bianco 0 for 2 today. Fouls that back.
This pitch calm, you see that wristband that Kasanovic got on that? That's where that's called pitch calm, where Drew Dickinson just programs the pitch in. Everyone on the Virginia on the field for Virginia sees the pitch. Kasanovic gets up and throws it. It is awesome. I think, to me, Fitz, the technology has increased today we've got a blowout game. That slows the game down. But overall, the pace of play in college baseball this year has been noticeably different, noticeably improved. And I think the technology for calling pitches has made a huge difference.
Up the middle, it's a base hit for Bianco. That's his first of the day. Well, if the main goal in mind is to improve the rhythm of the game, why wouldn't you embrace something like this?
Yep. I think it's quicker even. You know, the other technology option we have is the catchers have the earpiece and the walkie-talkie from the pitching coach to the catcher, but then the catcher still has to put the sign down. This way, everybody on the field's getting the sign at the same time. If anything, we're rushing hitters, which, you know, to use Dan McDonald's word, amen. Like, let's go.
Anderson taps the first one foul.
Probably puts a little pressure on the pitching coach. You see Drew Dickinson there. You got 9 dudes on the field looking at their wristband like, come on, Coach Drew, let's go.
We're ready.
Tick, 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 tick. Great technology. I'm in on this. You'll see Drew Dickinson. It's just a little video game. It's just like a little remote control. Puts the pitch in. You put in the pitch and the location. And everybody on the field for Virginia's got it in a second. Pitch com. 2 M's.
Yeah. Fascinating. Jam shot, base hit. Bianco heads to third, so runners at the corners with 2 gone.
So Jimmy Sullivan comes in for Newell, and that's a mistake that you see he's saying to himself, you got to keep the hitter off at second base. You've got no chance to throw out a Louisville runner at third base with 2 outs when they're going on contact. So that's just a mental error right there. And Jimmy Sullivan will get through that as he gets more repetitions. But I'm telling you, Fitz, watching Louisville go first to third, it is a thing of beauty. Louisville runs the bases like a machine. I love it.
Yeah, you saw the sign or the fielder at second base saying, get it to me instead. Runners at second and third.
Yeah, you got to keep hitters out of scoring position if you're Virginia right now. Plus 10.
So the outside edge to Metzinger.
I got Drew Dickinson as a left-hander, Fitz, so that's the remote's in his left hand.
That's a whole lot of power in the left hand there.
He's got the handwritten charts. Drew Dickinson going old school. I like it. I'm telling you, when Virginia lost Carl Kuhn, became the head coach at Radford, Brian O'Connor had never had a different pitching coach, and he, got his chance to pick who he wanted, and Drew Dickinson obviously done a remarkable job at Illinois.
You know, and we've been so complimentary of Virginia's offense, especially today. But as a team, Virginia's ERA is top 15 in the nation. So top 15 in the nation in both ERA and batting average. So the makeup of this Louisville team, gritty, grinders, a year after failing to reach the NCAA tournament. New right-hander on the mound for the Cardinals. Cameron Robinson was warming up. And the top half of the 7th. 12th appearance of the year for Robinson. This is the 12th appearance of the season for the senior. And Max Codier is up there on the left side of the plate. He replaces Justin Rubin and will take over at second base. Codier's first hacks, pulls that one foul. Robinson's from Champaign, Illinois. Tall, lanky, 6'5" right-hander. He spent a couple of years at John Logan College, transferred to Louisville ahead of last season. 2-1.
John A. Logan, that is a good junior college program. They have some players. I feel like at least once a week we're reading off a roster name of a kid that played at John A. Logan. And for a junior college in the Midwest, boy, they pump out great Division I players.
Codier keeps the at-bat alive.
Be interesting as you get into the postseason here, Fitz. If you're Brian O'Connor, you've got this platoon, left-handed hitting Max Codier, who's a veteran, 3-year player who's been on the field a ton. And then you've got the freshman Justin Rubin, who's acquitted himself quite well. Do you just stay with the platoon all the way through, or does one of those guys win the job outright?
Codier pops it up. The wind takes that thing into left center. Usher tracks it down. Well, what would you be most comfortable with?
I mean, I think I've been impressed with. Yeah, I was been impressed with Rubin, but I think when you get to the postseason, just for defensive purposes, seeing new faces in there, different faces in there, gives me angst. So, if whoever's the better defender, you would always assume it's the older player, but maybe that's not a safe assumption. Codier or Rubin, I don't know. Once you get into the playoffs, having a platoon makes me a little anxious.
Well, and Codier has really asserted himself of late. He flew out there, but he's hit safely in 8 of his last 9. So it's been a nice 2-week stretch for Codier at the plate. Meanwhile, this is Alex Tappan, who's out ahead of that pitch.
But hey, both guys are field 970, and they're both really good athletes. It's like pray for the problem.
Three hits today for Tappan. All singles. He's driven in a pair. And Robinson pumps another one in.
Yeah, Tappan's one of those great stories where he's a 5th-year senior who played a lot early in his career and kind of got passed over. And now he's having his best year in his final year, and he has been a huge part of this great season for Virginia.
And how Brian O'Connor describes it as is he just entered this season totally locked in, placing less pressure on himself than ever before. 2-2. And he bounces that foul. A lot of pressure that he placed on himself a year ago to perform at a very high level. And this year just more at peace than ever before. You'd expect that from a 5th-year senior, maturing, evolving over the years. Two. Way high. That one gets away from Peyton.
I think Tappan's kind of discovered who he is. You first come on the scene as a freshman, you're just trying to get hits. You're just trying to get to first base and participate. And then, Tappan's a big dude, and then you start thinking, well, maybe because I'm so big, I'm supposed to hunt home runs. And then you just get away from your game. And, Tappan's hit home runs this year, but to me, he's really a gap-to-gap doubles guy.
Well, he just worked the walk, so he's on base for a 4th time today. In total this season, 27 extra base hits for Tappan. That average at 345. It's only going to go up after the middle game of this series.
He's going to finish way over 70 RPIs too, by the way.
New corner outfielders. You see Chris Sangs out in left, JT Benson in right. It's a quality stash.
Boy, is it. I mean,
first pitch bounce to Geloff.
You have our attention. Chris Sang, well played. See, if you're going to be a role player and Sang's a guy that does a lot of pinch running, play defense, bring that all day.
How are you going to
Throw
stand
that in
out?
your lunch pail. Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh, yes.
Sang's the senior from LaGrange, Kentucky. Geloff rips this one, but foul. He hesitated momentarily. It ultimately did wind up foul.
Jake Geloff's so fun to watch as it bats because he's one of those guys that can swing the bat out of control while under control, which makes no sense. But he just takes these wild swings, but yet it does not become, he never gets to the point where he's just getting himself out in ridiculous fashion. But he's spending the whole dollar, that's for sure. Got kept guessing there, I think.
One, two. Called third strike. Robinson gets Geloff looking.
Geloff focus on that breaking ball and takes 2 straight fastballs. Robinson with some paint right there.
That's the 3rd time Geloff has punched out. So it brings up Devin Ortiz. Ortiz, one of the 4 home run hitters tonight for Virginia. Takes that inside strike. Virginia up by 10. Robinson a strike away here from closing out the 7th. The drama's on now as we are about to send you to Miami and Notre Dame. Robinson got the inning done just in time. Now let's go down to Miami for the 2nd game of that series. Presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Welcome back to Louisville. There's Churchill Downs in the distance. The home Cardinals will need a Rich Strike type comeback tonight. They're at the plate in the bottom of the 7th, down by 10. However, Mike Rooney, this team is projected to host a regional according to D1 Baseball and their weekly projections as to what the NCAA tournament will look like. So as of just a couple of days ago, this is what the projection could be for Louisville's regional. Again, we will know once this is all sorted out in about a week or so. But a projected 1 seed, or I should say a national seed, you see right there they would be slotted as the 8th. That would mean it hosts a regional and super regional en route to a potential run to Omaha.
Yeah, get our guys from Tommy Tailgaters an extra weekend or 2 of festivities. But, you know, like to your point, Fitz, 8 means you're hosting both weekends. 9 means you're not. Number 9 means that you're hosting only the first weekend of regionals. So for Louisville, every game matters if you want to host a super regional. And, you know, I think in the ACC, this is a league where we've seen, think about Notre Dame last year. Notre Dame hosted a regional but not a super regional, and they had to go down to Starkville, Mississippi for the super. So we want Tommy's tail. If you're Louisville, you want Tommy Tailgaters getting as much action as possible.
This is
Next time
Paul
you see
Kasanovich,
them
by the
in
way.
Omaha.
Yeah. Well, listen, they've got that RV. You got the thing rented for the rest, for until June. You want to be able to utilize it. There's a pressing question that has a pressing matter that has now just been brought to my attention as Jack Payton swings through that pitch, so the count's 2-2. But Bobby Blankenship, our producer, just brought up a key caveat. Have they changed outfits? Was there a planned outfit change from
Maybe.
Tommy Tailgaters? I think one of them was wearing a jersey.
Originally? Oh yeah, a lot of possibilities. Could be a spill,
a lot of beverage.
Fitz could be a just a rally change, right? Like just trying to change the mojo of the game. They are living good, by the way. That there is an RV, Fitz.
There is van life, and then there is that. That is RV life to the max. Payoff's coming to Payton. This one's hammered high in the air to left center. Tappan puts it away. One gone in the 7th. Well, Louisville has earned a reputation as a team that never quits. 6 times they've come back and won when it's trailed in the 7th inning or later. Again, this would be the equivalent of what Rich Strike did a couple of weeks ago, coming from the bat. I mean, they're down 10 here in the 7th.
Now the Park's
you see the
ready
bottom.
to give it up.
Yep. Largest deficit it had faced this season was 11 runs earlier this year against Michigan. They raised a 5-run deficit a month ago against NC State. And this one's a little bit of a tougher task. But did you notice in that D1 baseball regional projection, they slotted Ole Miss in there as the 3 seed behind Wofford. You got father and son getting together once again. Ben Bianco's hitting 8th in this Louisville order. His father has been the skipper at Ole Miss for the last 20 years. Hey, Louisville's got a blast. Dalton rushing with his team best 18th. The horn goes off hockey style.
Yes. I think that's called the Cabbage Patch, if I'm not mistaken. The tailgaters don't quit either. Well done.
Boy, there's a whole lot of we got 20-mile-an-hour gusts. That van was moving a little bit. Be careful up there. Thing was rocking. First hit of the day for rushing, and now we may have back-to-back Jacks Masterman. Oh, no doubter. Four homers for Virginia and 2 more for Louisville. 13-5.
Love the football helmet. JT Benson is a name to write down, Fitz. This is a kid that Louisville is very high on, has dealt with injury this year, and our guys are fired up.
Yeah, pardon me, Mike. That was JT Benson.
In fairness to Paul Kasanovich, Craig Barron's zone has been very tight today. And I don't mean that as a criticism. It's been the same zone all day, which is all you ask for, but there's not a lot of give. And so for Kasanovic, you're really just forced to throw balls over the plate on a day where offense is going to come in bunches.
So the 2-0 pitch coming to Austin Bode, the pinch hitter. Time Kasanovic finds the bottom portion of the zone. The count's 3-1. Yeah, Bode's a freshman from Columbus, Indiana. Bounces that to the right side. Cotier to first. 2 gone. Pair of solo homers for Louisville in the 7th inning. So you rewind back to the 5th inning when the 7 and 8 hitters of the Virginia order, Casey Schauke and Ethan Anderson, blasted back-to-back jacks. Rushing and Benson, the latest to do it. This is Noah Smith, the freshman, who a lot of folks are high on. 281 average. Smith has earned some starts the last week. It's behind the count, 0-2.
Yeah, this is a good look. Nobody recruits depth on their roster better than Dan McDonnell in Louisville, and they just have a tradition of guys having to wait their turn for a year and then coming in and becoming really good players very, very quickly. Now, that's a good pitch.
Yeah, very close. Smith shoots it through the hole, base hit.
My thought, Fitz, is that Kasanovic is probably burned for tomorrow, couldn't come back for game 3. So if you're Drew Dickinson and Brian O'Connor, whatever is available from Kasanovic, let's call it 65 pitches, you might just empty the tank here today.
There's Chris Sang, who pinch hits for Isaac Humphrey. Behind of the fastball.
You weren't kidding, Fitz. That regional, they're just projections, clearly, but that regional that's projected for Louisville, that's no picnic. And I guess it is the postseason. Everybody's good, but boy, that would be a tough draw. Wofford is a cool team, one of the fastest teams in the nation. They're great at stealing bases, a lot of sidearm slot pitchers. You mentioned Ole Miss, father and son with the Biancos. Hey, and Mike Bianco is Dan McDonald's mentor. Dan McDonald worked for him at Ole Miss. And then Wright State, it's easy to forget, Wright State almost beat Tennessee in regionals last year in Knoxville. That's for anybody that likes bat flips. If you want to find one that will really light you up, Google Drew Gilbert walk-off grand slam, Tennessee in the postseason last year. That was a bat launch.
Like Jose Bautista style.
But higher, like, I mean, just
but
like put it in the t-shirt gun and fire. It was, now again, it's a walk-off grand slam when your team's down 8-5 in the 9th inning with 2 outs in a regional. So that's a special occasion, but Drew Gilbert, that was, he flipped everything. The bat, the helmet, you name it.
1-2 to Sang. He lays off. Oh, and this time Smith got caught way too. We're 6, 7, and 8 due up expected in the Virginia order. First pitch to the lefty. Teal is down and in. Well, if for nothing else, Virginia is able to record 6 outs. This sets up a winner takes the series Sunday finale. Boy, Teal needs a little tighter batting helmet. The helmet almost came off once again. That was on just a foul ball.
Either a tighter helmet or a less violent swing. I think either one of those two things, but I think the helmet's probably our better chance. That it's been Kyle Teal for 2 years. A lot of helmets flying off. I'll tell you though, Kyle Teal, they don't get to Omaha last year without his freshman season. He was a critical offensive spark for the Cavaliers.
That one's foul as well. Helmet a little more secure this time.
And that would explain Kyle Teal's numbers, just a little tardy on the heater.
You know, Mike, when you look back to that Virginia season a year ago, really was a switch. Teal rips this one fair. Extra bases for the catcher. Chugging his way to second, so a leadoff double for the sophomore. That's Virginia's first non-single or homer. They've every hit for the Wahoos today a home run or a single. So it's the first of the double variety. Teal retrieves his batting helmet.
It's funny, you see Teal, who's a New Jersey guy, and both of these programs, they recruit north. You know, Virginia, it's a ton of Philly kids, New Jersey kids, and then for Louisville, it's just kind of the Midwest version of that. A lot of Ohio kids, Chicago kids, and both teams, you know, they're recruiting athletes from those areas, and then they just play with that toughness and that swagger.
Casey Sauke, upstate New Yorker from Rochester, takes the Kyle Walter fastball on the outside edge.
Sauke's got a chance to be a really high draft pick. I mean, he absolutely looks the part. 6'3", 200, athletic, can swing it. You know, here's the thing, Fitz, you could put Casey Sauke in center field and feel really good about it. You could put him at third base. You could put him at second base. I bet you could play short, too, if you wanted. He may outgrow the position, but just the size and athleticism is really striking.
A prosperous freshman season for him. Fouls the 1-2 off in the air down the left field line.
And these freshmen for Virginia might catch a second wind here. You know, school is now over, or close to over, and you're just playing baseball. And you've got a lot of repetitions under your belt, and you can just settle into a really good routine and play your best baseball.
Walter trying to retire Sauke. Got him with the breaking pitch. One gone. So Walter, the freshman from Shorewood, Illinois, has one man gone here in the 8th.
Nice looking slider right there. That'll work.
Walter was a 3-year letter winner in high school at Manuka Community High. Misses upstairs to Ethan Anderson. Engineering major, so I would figure Kyle Walter is relieved that the academic calendar has come to a close for his freshman season.
Goodness. It's a great major. It's a great major to select if you actually don't want to have fun in college. That's how I would describe that. I know the world needs engineers, but not that we don't need engineers named Mike Rooney.
That time Anderson's a little late. Counts the ball in 2 strikes.
I remember engineers in college, Fitz, having these tests, these exams, where there were 4 problems on the exam. And those guys felt great if they answered 2 of them. And I remember thinking, remind me not to drive on the bridges that you guys build. I would hope you could answer all 4 questions well. But that is all kidding aside, good on
assuming
you.
These are
Kyle
the
Walter.
open-ended question
Yes.
variety.
Yes.
How long is each answer?
Exams of death. That's what it sounded like. It just didn't sound great at all.
I only got through 2. It took me 2 hours to answer a couple of questions. That one's hacked foul.
But to your point, for the Kyle Walters of the world, that is a handful. You're an engineering student finishing your first year of college, getting used to living on your own. Oh, and by the way, you're playing ACC baseball with a really hellacious midweek schedule that Louisville plays. So you get the summer ball and you're like, whew, what just happened?
Your head spinning a little bit. This one's in the air to center. Long run, a dive, and that one caroms away from the center fielder. So Kyle Teal scores Virginia's 14th run. Ethan Anderson dropped that one into center. And that time Hawkins couldn't make the play.
Really nice effort by Hawkins. I did not seem like it was going to get down easily, and Tyler Hawkins almost turns that into an out. Got a great jump on it.
Like just trapped it. Yeah, attempted to. He went sliding, and the ball went bouncing behind him. So Anderson's at second. Another run is in. And Sullivan's up for the second time today. Yeah, for Louisville, almost an entirely different lineup and defensive alignment right now compared to when this one started. Anderson is put away, or make it Sullivan. Anderson stays put at second base. With his team down 9. You just said it. You want to strengthen your arms and get a whole bunch of guys work.
Well, think about it, Fitz. If you want to win the ACC tournament, that's 4 games you got to win. Or at least 3 out of 4 games. You got to play 4 games. And then think about Louisville. Louisville hosted in 2019, but got upset by Illinois State. Louisville had to play 5 games in the regional round on their way to Omaha in 2019. That's a lot of pitching. You a conference tournament where you need 4 games worth of arms, and then a regional round where you could potentially need 5. That's hard. That's hard on 5 or 6 guys. You need 7, 8, 9, 10 if the losers bracket comes into play.
In the air, falling in left. Sang makes the catch. Inning is over. Middle of the 8th. 7, 8, 9 due up next.
On the basis of sex, Be excluded from participation in any education program or activity.
Bottom of the 8th inning, Virginia 14, Louisville 5. It's been all UVA. In the second game of a very critical regular season capping 3-game set. Louisville won the opener yesterday. Final score 4-1. Here's Chris Sang, by the way, who's at the plate for the first time. Counts now ball and 2 strikes with Paul Kasanovich.
I like this by Brian O'Connor and Drew Dickinson. They're going to see if Paul Kasanovich can take this home. Save the rest of the bullpen bullets for tomorrow in a huge rubber match.
Came out of the pen to start the 6th inning, and he just got Sang looking. Called 3rd strike, so that's the 3rd punch out for Kasanovich. Now, he gave up a couple of home runs in the 7th, Mike, but tossed a scoreless 6th inning. Just got Sang looking here on the inside edge.
Good pitch. That looks like a zone that's moving a little bit. Like that's starting to be a later zone. I'm in favor of it.
With the game, a 9-run ball game. To Ben Bianco, one of a few remaining starters that are still in the game. Yeah, Louisville fell behind early. It was 7-0 after 3 innings. It took until the 4th for the Cardinals to scratch a few across. They scored 3, and Virginia immediately punched back with 6 in the 5th. Oh-2 coming from the right-hander. Just a tad outside. I mean, this Virginia team's playing very good baseball. They've won 10 of their last 14. Louisville is 13-4-1 over its last 18. 1-2.
You think about the game tomorrow, too, Fitz. It's not just the win, although the win does matter mathematically, but it's the series win. You know, think about for Louisville, their biggest series win, in my opinion, is a sweep of Notre Dame. And to add Virginia to that list, I mean, certainly a series win over UNC is looking better, NC State's looking better, Clemson's looking better, but those are not marquee series wins. Series sweep of Notre Dame, that's marquee. And then you get a series win over Virginia, same thing. Like now you're building a top 8 national seed resume to go with the metrics. For Virginia, this would in fact be their biggest series win of the year.
On the road, remember, it's been a little while since Virginia left the state. It's its first ACC road series in a month. Well, and Mike, yeah, go ahead, Roots.
No, I was going to say, Fitz, like right now for Virginia, Wake Forest is a good series win. Georgia Tech's a good series win. UNC's a good series win. But, they lost a series to Miami. They lost a series to Virginia Tech. Virginia's looking for a big series win, a loud data point on their resume.
You mentioned that sweep of Notre Dame for the Cardinals. That was back in mid-March, so it was a little while ago. And this would give you a great recent jolt of confidence and command heading into the postseason next week.
Absolutely.
Here's the third baseman, Brandon Anderson. He singled his last time up, so 1 for 3 a day for the freshman who had limited at-bats this year. Just his 6th start of the season. Kasanovich, he got Sang looking. He just let Bianco go, and now he's fallen behind on the count 2-0 to Anderson.
Yeah, and he does seem, I like this trip by Kyle Teal, showing some good instincts here, because it does seem like Kasanovic is tiring just a little bit.
There's Dylan Bowers in the. So you've got, by the way, the unique quirk to Jim Patterson Stadium. You've got the visiting bullpen is along the foul line. Now, for the Cardinals, meanwhile, Louisville on the other side, they've got the gate there across the, a fence and across the protective padding. There it is.
Different.
Got a little
different. It's the upgraded version.
2-0 is high and away. I would say maybe some Tropicana Field vibes, although we're not in a dome. So, how about this? Maybe I'll go trivia time with you right now, because there's only 2 major league parks with bullpens along the foul line. I just gave one away, Tropicana Field. Do you know the other one? 3-0 is in for a strike, by the way.
Is it Oakland, the A's?
They got it.
Is that the Coliseum? Are they still at the Coliseum for the love of?
They're still playing there.
Goodness.
They are still
Doesn't
there.
feel real.
Yeah. Well, Wrigley, of course, had bullpens down the line for the longest time, but that got changed in recent years. Now 2 gone. The Oakland Coliseum.
I said
so
it.
2
I
outs
almost
in the
couldn't
8th.
believe it. Couldn't believe it was true.
That's Bowers, and would he come out of the pen for the 9th inning? Should Kasanovic get out of trouble here? Well, spoiler alert, Bowers is coming in with 2 gone in the bottom of the 8th inning. The right-hander from Colorado is on the slope when we come back, and Virginia's up by 9-8. Bottom of the 8th. So look at that, new pitcher on the slope. This is Dylan Bowers, right-hander from Centennial, Colorado. Transferred to Virginia from Northern Colorado. And he finds the bottom of the zone. 25th appearance of the year for Bowers, 3.98 ERA. He replaces Paul Kasanovic, who nearly went 3 full out of the pen. Good stuff from Bowers here.
Yeah, Bowers got that really big 12-6 breaking ball. It's going to be in the low to mid 70s. So you're talking 15 miles an hour off of his fastball. So this is another guy that Virginia would like to get hot down the stretch.
Wave and a miss, inning over. 3 pitches to retire Metzinger. We go to the 9th. We've reached the 9th inning. Virginia with a 9-run advantage over Louisville in the middle game of 3. The finale tomorrow, Saturday, 12 Eastern. That's the finale of the regular season. Then all these ACC teams, they will descend upon Charlotte for the ACC Baseball Championship. That begins Tuesday. And Mike, you just brought it up. One team is going to have to win probably 4 games, minimum 3. You got to win your pod, your 3-team pod in a sense, to advance to the semifinals. And sometimes there's tiebreakers based on how you finished in the regular season standings. That begins 24th. So for Louisville, this is a really important final couple of games of the regular season. Right now, they're the 2 seed because they lead the Atlantic Division. That could change in the next couple days.
And I'll tell you, if it's, think about last year. Duke, who got off to a really slow start, and they were not an NCAA tournament team. After being in Super Regionals in 2018 and 2019, Duke was left for dead last year in 2021. They win 12 in a row down the stretch, and win the ACC tournament. So, that was a data point for Duke. But think about the other team that maybe we didn't quite know was NC State. And NC State finished second in the ACC tournament on their way to upsetting #1 Arkansas in a super regional.
Jacob Ferris is the 8th pitcher for Louisville today. 2-2. That's up high to Max Codier. Mike, I think there's been about 24 substitutions at points in this game. And Ferris, the latest. This is his 11th appearance of the season. 6.43 ERA. Payoff. And he gets Codier swinging through that one. One gone in the 9th.
You see Ferris, and it's good stuff. And I think this is something we've seen in college baseball this year. Beats Codier with the fastball up. We have a lot of pitchers in college baseball, but the training of pitchers has never been better. But we've lost a lot of repetitions, and the pitchability has not been great.
Base hit through the left side. Well, what do you mean by that, Mike?
So what I mean is, you think about, a lot of these young pitchers that in 2019 or 2020, whether they were in high school or college, would have gotten a full spring season of innings, and then a summer season of innings, and then a fall of innings. They lost all that, and they were able to train and do the velocity building and the build spin rates on breaking balls. But what they're not getting is the competition of just mano-a-mano throw strikes. And, I think Jacob Ferris is a great example. 14 innings, 17 strikeouts is something that's very attractive. But 14 innings and 16 walks is really problematic. And I'm not picking on Jacob Ferris. I feel like there's a lot of guys in college baseball right now that the younger guys where they've lost innings over the last couple of years, and the strike throwing has been the slow thing to come back. Certainly it's not a lack of velocity.
Yep. I mean, it's a glaring example of the side effects from the pandemic and what it does. Ferris hails from Richmond, Kentucky, a couple of seasons at Eastern Kentucky before transferring into the Louisville program. 22 career appearances at EKU. That's actually the team that Louisville just played Tuesday and beat his old squad. Geloff, or pardon me, Geloff draws the walk. So 2 aboard.
It's interesting.
In the 9th inning for Virginia.
I feel like I see more pitchers throw in college baseball. I see more pitchers this year throw a pitch that kind of just you say, wow. Like a pitch that you're like, gosh dang, that's a really good pitch. But then you see a lot of just pretty wide misses after that. So seeing if we can create more consistency, I think is going to be really important. And in fairness, we've had a lot of pitching injuries this year in college baseball. So when you take those top 2% of arms out of the game, certainly that impacts what the product on the mound is going to look like. That has to be accounted for.
Ortiz pounces on that one, and Smith drops the baseball. Was hoping to maybe turn 2. So the error allows the inning to continue. Bases loaded for the Cavaliers. One more look at Kyle Teal. He's reached base twice today, doubled his last time up, was also hit by a pitch in the first. Flared out to left. Sang makes the catch, and Virginia's lead is back to 10. Sacrifice fly for Kyle Teal. 2 gone.
Well, this only counts as one win for Virginia, but I will say I like the at-bats Kyle Teal has had. He's showing signs of maybe getting on a little heater here in the postseason.
And that would be really encouraging because his hit today actually snaps at an 0 for. He was 0 for his last 16 entering today's game. He had been hitless for 5 straight. And he's busted out of that. Here's Selke, base is full, 2 gone in the ninth. For Louisville, it's 2, 3, and 4 in the order, although it's hardly the heart of the order anymore. Many substitutions with their team down 10. Yeah, 3 errors this series. That's not going to excite Dan McDonnell.
I would tell you that Louisville's defense has improved. That was a struggle last year.
Oh, another hard hit baseball down the line. Selke pounced all over that one. This is going to be a 4-hit day for Casey Selke. Pair of singles, a double, the solo homer back in the 5th inning, so he's got a couple more RBIs. Make it 3 of them in this game. Ortiz went to 3rd, Selke at 2nd. Anderson first pitch swinging. Ferris hoping this one takes care of the side. It does. Virginia 3 outs away from evening up this series. They have blitzed the Cardinals today. Friday evening in Louisville, Virginia with an 11-run lead. They have trampled the Cardinals today. Looking to even up the series, 3 outs away from doing so. Boy, warm weather in Louisville. I love that downtown, that Main Street in downtown Louisville. You've got the Louisville Slugger Museum, you've got the AAA baseball field, you've got the Muhammad Ali Museum. There's a whole lot going. The KFC Yum Center right down that way as well, along the banks of the Ohio. There it is. Yeah, that looks like the world's largest bat.
That would be a lot of bat to handle. That is awesome.
It's actually a recovered. That's Babe Ruth's bat. That's actually the size of bat modeled to scale what he used to swing with. Dylan Bowers is out there trying to get this one to the finish line. It's been all Virginia. They at one point led 7-0 in the early innings. 13-3 around the midway point of the game, and now the largest lead of the game comes after a pair of runs in the top half of this inning. 16-5.
Man, that becomes a huge game tomorrow, Fitz. You know, Virginia wins this series, and they start sneaking back into that hosting conversation. And for Louisville, you start worrying about how sturdy your top 8 status is. A lot to play for tomorrow. And then we head to Charlotte. I mean, this is good times. Good time of year.
2-2, smacked out to deep right center. Sullivan can't get there. Extra bases in the 9th for Jack Payton. Dalton Rushing ripped his 18th homer of the season last time up. That was back in the 7th. Boy, 18 of them. Now, Metzinger has been right on his heels with 17 homers. Make it 16, pardon. Well, where did that one go? That's where Kyle Teal is asking. And now he's starting to point Dylan Bowers to the plate to say, make sure you're there in case Peyton gets any ideas. Kyle Teal's sharing a laugh with the home plate umpire, Greg Barron. Bowers delivers the 1-2. Swung on and missed, and there's one gone in the 9th. Virginia 2 outs away from evening the series.
It's interesting tomorrow. So Virginia's used Kasanovich. Still Jay Woolfolk will be available. Brandon Neek. I mean, I think that's what they want to do. Whoever they end up choosing to start, and then it's Neek and Woolfolk. But for Louisville, boy, their bullpen will be fresh as a daisy. Michael Persecki will have a day's rest after his 28 pitches. Ryan Hawks will be ready. Garrett Schmeltz, Tate Keener, Alex Galvan. Dan McDonald's going to have some options in his bullpen tomorrow.
It's setting up for what you would think would be maybe a bit more of an evenly matched series finale. This one was never really close. JT Benson up for the second time. Homered in his first at-bat in the 7th. That was a pinch hit at-bat for the righty. And he hammers another out to deep left field. Off the base of the fence. Sullivan has to scramble. Louisville adds another. Benson looking for 3, and he's got it. .22 combined runs and 29 combined hits.
Boy, Benson has put a charge into a couple baseballs today, and you start thinking as Louisville gets healthy here, Fitz. I mean, you know, Christian Knapchick's going to certainly get back in the lineup when he gets healthy, and if you're Dan McDonald, JT Benson has your attention right now. Runners.
And we've officially pushed into hour number 5.
And if you were to look at my scorebook, Fitz, I don't think it would help you learn anything about what transpired today. There's just a lot of ink on the page.
I've had enough trouble keeping track of some things today. The 1-2's on the ground to second. 2 gone. Virginia now away. Yeah, this is a lesson in don't score a game in pen, even if there's different colored pens, so on and so forth. The run does score for third, so it's 16-7. So a believable football score across the way from Cardinal Stadium. Remember, the finale is tomorrow at noon. So we're going first pitch at noon right here on the ACC network. Smith bounces it to short. Should do it. O'Farrell on to first, and the ball game is over. Just a barrage of offense.